All right, all right. We're gonna get started in just a second, everybody. Just want to make sure we're live on all platforms before we start this. I do apologize for earlier. Like I said, if you watched any of the videos that I put out, the YouTube Shorts, unfortunately there was a power outage around my area, so uh, it sucks to say that I couldn't stream or even talk about it because me and my boy Pete, we were going to talk about all the stuff going on around the league and really talk about the playoffs and really get it going and really do a preview to this game that we ended up happening. So it kind of sucks in a way that I was not able to do that for you guys. But we are going to get started in a second, just talking about really this game and what it really came down to. As you guys could tell from the title, Curry goes off for 50. I mean, this is uh, legendary stuff because they definitely needed his 50 points in order to win this game. It was not a great game from the Warriors in the sense that everybody else did not offensively bring it, but Steph Curry obviously carrying the team on his back into game 7 is huge. And so we're going to talk about that a lot in this series and in this game because they're going to be playing the Lakers next, which I think are going to present a tougher matchup. And it kind of goes to show you what I've talked about before in the past. Like, you need that veteran experience and leadership in order to win those championships, in order to get into those moments, win those moments, because life comes at you fast, man. And those moments come really quick for teams that aren't ready for it. And you got to give credit to the Sacramento Kings. They had a tremendous season this year. They're definitely heading in the right direction. But I think they're going to need to look for some reinforcements in the offseason, whether it's the draft or whether they can trade and get some pieces in there, because I think that they can potentially be a solid team. They just got to do some stuff. And it's the reason why at the beginning of it, if you guys remember, I talked about how when the seedings were all happening in that final week of the regular season, I was telling the Kings want the Clippers because Golden State is just a different breed. It's a different animal. And if you're not ready for the Golden State Warrior experience, it is tough. And I mean tough to play against, to go up against. And so we're going to get started right now talking about it. Here we go. Alrighty, everybody. How's it going? This is, of course, your boy Bernie here on the charge, giving the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. And I hope you guys are enjoying your Sunday afternoon. I wish that this game was on at 5:30. I just think that it made more sense, but at the same time, you want the East Coast people to be able to watch this game. So I understand it from that perspective, but still not too much of a fan of this game being on early, as I kind of wanted to do a watch along, but it had to be at the right time and ended up not being at the right time. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The Golden State Warriors will advance to the Western semifinals to play the LA Lakers, but they ended up winning this game in a game 7 against the Sacramento Kings, 120-100. And again, in a home game for the Sacramento Kings, you thought that the Kings were going to get this win just because of the fact that the Warriors have had a poor road record during the regular season. But just like everything else in the regular season, it really doesn't matter. The playoffs are a completely new season, and anybody that's been a coach or anybody that has played basketball at a high level, whether it's high-level basketball in high school, high-level basketball in college, and even obviously the NBA, you know that once the playoffs hit, it's a completely different animal. It's something that you're not used to as an athlete or someone who hasn't been there before, just because of how much emotions are riding in these games, how much people can get emotional. It's one of the toughest places and one of the toughest things to do, I would say, as an athlete. I never have done this. I've never done this, or even at the high school level, like at all. Coaching wise, I have done it one time. And I can understand like the level and intensity that's needed in order to compete in these games. But let's get started talking about it really quick. Like I said at the beginning of this video, to me, this was the I'm trying to think of the right word, but it's the quintessential, or really the epitome of a Steph Curry game. Steph Curry was the guy. He was him in this playoff series, in this game, because of the fact that he really had to carry the load offensively for this team. If you look at the numbers for the rest of the guys, whether we look at the assists, rebounds, and points, no one was coming close to that. Jordan Poole had 8 points, only played 19 minutes. Gary Payton II, 2 points. Moses Moody, 5 points. Klay Thompson, 16. Wiggins, 17. Kevon Looney had 11, a huge 11, I would say, in that game. And he kind of actually sunned Sabonis a little bit. Sorry, Sean. I know you're going to watch this a little bit later, but it was a masterclass by by our guy Kevon Looney over Sabonis. And Draymond Green, not really giving you much other than really great defense and his usual stat line, 8, 7, and 5, something like that. But, he did his job. But to me, this was all Steph Curry's game. Steph Curry is averaging 31 points in the playoffs right now. And clearly, if he averaged maybe his average, I don't think this team wins. But because he went above and beyond, I think that's really, to me, the X factor. And really, it's like the main reason why they won, right? Because if you look at this team, the way it's constructed, they needed Jordan Poole, especially for the contract that was given to him, especially for all the stuff that that rides on the Jordan Poole experience. It's tough to win games if Jordan Poole is not dropping at least 22 to 25 points. This was probably one of his worst games as a Golden State Warrior. He's just been very inconsistent, I would say. If anybody that's watched this playoff series, if anybody that's watched, it is very inconsistent for Jordan Poole, because he needs to do that for them, because that's the reason why he signed that big contract in the first place. I think Klay Thompson struggled tremendously in this series, especially tremendously in this game. 4 for 19, 2 for 10. I mean, this was just, like I said, defensively, going to do a lot of great things. Offensively is hit or miss at this point in his career, just because of the fact that he has gotten a little bit older. He can't move as quickly and as laterally as he used to, but that doesn't take away anything from Klay Thompson as who he was as a player. It's just he has to play a different role. And I think Wiggins has to step up a little bit more. 5 for 16, 1 for 5, 6 for 10 for the free throw line. That's just not going to cut it. And so at the end of the day, it was a tough, hearted loss for the Sacramento Kings, because if we look at their stats, it's a little bit more sad. Sabonis had 22. I think most of his points came in the first half. Harrison Barnes was a no-show in this game. This reason why his minutes have diminished tremendously. I mean, 1 for 4, 0 for 2 from 3-point, 4 points only. Murray playing 28 minutes, did not play that step-up role that he needed to. De'Aaron Fox, this was probably his worst game of the playoff series, and it's the worst time to do it. Because otherwise, he has been tremendous in this playoff. Like, I understand he has the hurt finger. I know a lot of people are going to make excuses for him, but to be honest with you, he was playing fine up until Game 6. But then when Game 7 hit, I just think that it's one of those things that you need to grow into as a player. Again, this is a very young team. Let's not get it twisted. Like, let's not forget that this is a very young team. This isn't a team that has a lot of veteran experience and leadership and guys that have done it before. Maybe Harrison Barnes, you could say, but other than that, and maybe Malik Monk. But at the same time, you need your star players to have that pedigree, and those guys just don't. And this is going to be a build on for next year, because I think this team is going to be solid. They're gonna have to make some interesting moves in order to sustain and really go above and beyond where they're at, because I think the Sacramento Kings team is here to stay. The question now becomes for the Sacramento Kings moving forward is, who's going to be our third guy? Who's going to be our second guy? Because I think Sabonis, what he showed you in this playoff series, and I know Sean is going to give me flack for this, but it has to be said. Like, he's a good player. He's a great player. But at the same time, I just don't think he's a second option on the team. I think that teams will now watch the game film of this. I'm actually going to watch the game film a little bit later, more in depth and more detailed. I did more of a quick rundown of the game. And I know I probably should have watched more extensively. But for the most part, after, I believe, Game 3, going into Game 4, whenever Draymond Green got suspended, I think the Warriors coaching staff did a tremendous job of understanding that they have decided that we're going to play off of Sabonis on the zoom action that he usually does, right? Because we all know that Sabonis is going to catch it on the pinch or near the free throw line and either do a dribble handoff at, or maybe a keeper dribble, fake dribble handoff, go for a keeper with his left hand. And the the Golden State Warriors did a great job of just, having Kevon Looney playing way off of him and daring Sabonis to shoot. And, I think it's one of those things when you look at a guy like Sabonis, he really needs to develop some new moves down in the post, down the low block, because to me, that's one of his biggest glaring weaknesses, is being able to do that stuff. Like, for example, he has no sort of up fake, go around, go step over, anything like that. It's more of like, I'm going to hit you hard left, or, going to go hard left so I can hook it, or sorry, hard right with the right shoulder so he can hook it left. And that's really all the post moves that he has right now. And that's just not going to cut it if you are a Kings fan. Like, Sabonis has to step up his offense. He's got to be more consistent with that mid-range jump shot. Otherwise, it's going to be a long and painful season for them moving over to next year if he can't shoot the ball. Because, again, like I said, playoffs and regular seasons are completely two different animals. And I think we need to start having a conversation with the referees about that, because I personally would like the way that right now the officiating, I know a lot of people are going to complain about it. People are going to cry. People are going to whine. But this is perfect officiating. I know that's going to be controversial for a lot of people, but I actually think that this is a great referee crew that just happened. I mean, I know Scott Foster, people have their gripes with him, but this is how I want the NBA to be. Now, do I want it to be a lot of scratching and crawling and black eyes like we see Sabonis have in the previous game? No. I don't think that that's kind of the right thing to do, but I would like to see more physicality in the game be brought back, because I think over the last couple of years, the NBA has gotten away with letting their superstars or letting these players get, I would say, fake confidence or fake egos going into the playoffs. You know, John Morant is getting those foul calls when he's jumping recklessly against the Lakers. Like, he's getting that in the regular season, but in the postseason, he is not getting those calls. And, you know, I think you need to start early. And I know this is going way off topic of this Golden State Kings game, but it does need to be said. And maybe I'll save it. Maybe I'll talk about it in a second. But let me continue on talking about the Kings, and I'll go on my little rant in a separate little video that I'll make for YouTube. Going back to this team, I mean, Davion Mitchell, 1 point over 2. I mean, I just think everybody on the Sacramento Kings was playing tight. And it's perfectly normal when you think about it. This is a young team. And I know a lot of people are going to say this is a failure. The Kings suck. Like, the Kings choked it away. This was their series to win. But let's not get it twisted. I think you guys are forgetting, like, as much as I maybe not hate, but, you know, I don't really like the Warriors. Not because they're a great freaking team and you want to see someone beat Goliath, right? But this team, it was just too much for them. Like, the Golden State Warriors have been in many of these situations time in and time out, whether it was last year against the Boston Celtics, whether it was a couple years back with LeBron James and the Cavaliers. Like, this is a very battle-tested Golden State team. And the question now becomes, when is the dynasty going to be over, right? It looks like it's not going to be over for a while. We're going to do probably a little preview talking about the Golden State Warriors versus the Lakers, because I think if the defense for the Lakers is there, I think it's going to be a struggle for the Golden State Warriors. But on the flip side, the Lakers are not that great of an offensive team, so they're going to really need to lock down on defense and make sure that they keep this game within a mile range of where they can win these type of games, because Golden State Warriors can put up these type of numbers, win 120, win probably one like 110. The Lakers, to me, they need to be scoring like the 105, 100, and that's where this team is going to definitely win those games, that being the Lakers. But at the end of the day, looking back on this whole game, I want to see a little bit more action. I mean, like, Kevin Huerter cannot go 2 for 9 in this playoff series. Again, De'Aaron Fox had probably his worst game of the playoffs. Chris Murray, 5 for 10, like, didn't really show up in the way that they needed him to. Harrison Barnes was a no-show again. It's a bonus. He needs to develop that jump shot. And so, to me, like, looking back at it, just kind of giving my overall synopsis of it, the Golden State Warriors did a perfect job of adjusting to how the Kings play, adjusting off defensively, how they're going to cover Sabonis, and it led to this game for them to be won. I mean, they did the jobs that they needed to. They got De'Aaron Fox shooting 3 for 10. I mean, that is the best you can do if you're a Golden State Warriors team, and they've been in these situations before. They're not going to miss these opportunities again. And to be honest with you, it's a championship pedigree, man. I know it's cliche. I know a lot of people are not going to like that. I know that people are going to blame the refs and other things like that. But at the end of the day, the Golden State Warriors are just that team. And, I think if you're a Warriors fan, you're celebrating, you're gloating. And if you're a Kings fan, you're definitely feeling it right now. And again, I do think that this Kings team, is heading in the right direction. I think that they're probably one piece away from it. I would love them to see what they can do with like a Harrison Barnes trade, maybe a Kevin Huerter trade, just something where they can get another guy in return, and help fill that role that they need so they can win these games. Because I think the Sacramento Kings, like I said, they're heading in the right direction. De'Aaron Fox is playing amazing. Sabonis is playing great as well. I think there's room for improvement. There's room to grow. But we'll see what happens in the future. But let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys make of this Golden State Warriors team? Is this team just impossible to beat? Is anybody going to stop Goliath in the Golden State Warriors, or are they going to continue to battle in, day out, and destroy teams in the future? And again, just to emphasize, Steph Curry, amazing player, 50 points. And like, I know that people are going to hate on him. I know he does a lot of those theatrical antics. He shoots the three, looks away, makes it. It annoys people, but at the same time, he is really freaking good. And you know, that's someone that, you know, again, he is a great player. And I think we just have to talk about him in like another stratosphere that he's entering in right now. I think he's entering in greatest of all greats currently. Not the greatest of all time, but he's entering in that conversation with the way that he had a 50-point performance. I think the most in a game 7, if I'm not mistaken. And so got to tip your cap off to him. Tip your cap off to Steph Curry. He's a great player, great competitor, annoying as hell, but he plays the game hard the right way. And who's going to stop him? That's the biggest question. And hopefully it's the Lakers, but who knows? But let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys make of the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry winning Game 7, going to play against the LA Lakers relatively soon? Let me know in the comment section down below. All right, let's move on to my little side rant that I want to talk about. And really what it comes down to, and it's not this game that you're seeing here on the screen. We know that this was not influenced by the ref. But what I've noticed in these playoff series, and I mentioned it a little bit in my Golden State Sacramento Kings topic just a little bit earlier. If you guys missed it in the live stream, you guys can watch a little bit of that snippet. But this is going to be a separate video that I'll probably clip out and put out for probably for Monday, if not nothing else. I would love for the NBA referees to honestly officiate the games that they are doing currently right now in the regular season. Because to me, this is where players such as Ja Morant, such as De'Aaron Fox, such as Sabonis, like this exposes weaknesses that these players need to see. These players are tremendous. They're great athletes. They will dominate anybody, anywhere. I get that. And I think that there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like they're a dominant group of players, dominant group of people playing the game of basketball. It is written in the stars for them. But in order for them to improve their game, in order for them to get to the next level, I would love if the NBA would call playoff games like the regular season needs to be called like playoff games, because that is when players are going to realize, okay, I can't get away with this all the time. And that's the problem with these NBA referees. And, you know, maybe it's that mentality of, yeah, I'm really good. No, really, there's nothing really I need to change about my game. There's nothing I need to do about my officiating. But there is. If you think about how much better these players would be if you actually officiated the game for the 82 games in the regular season like you did today. Like preseason, I understand. You know, you're not calling fouls, you're letting people go. You're being a little ticky-tack. But in the regular season, these players are not going to get better if you just coddle them and say, foul, here you go. Here's 7 free throws at the free throw line. Like, think about this. I'm pretty sure Sabonis is not averaging 6 free throws a game in the regular season. I'm sure he's averaging like 7 or 8 trips to the line. Same thing with like a guy like De'Aaron Fox. You're telling me he's not getting at least 7 to 8 trips to the line in the regular season, but he's only getting 3 or 4 this game. And even Steph Curry, 3 for 5. Like Steph Curry, again, many people don't like him, but he is getting fouled. And, you're telling me he's only getting 5 free throws in a game. Like, to me, that's a little ridiculous. Like, you're giving Andrew Wiggins 10 free throw attempts, but Steph Curry only gets 5. I think that's a little preposterous. I know Steph Curry is more of a three-point shooting guy. I know 20 of his shots, though, came from the 2-point line, or from the two-point field goal range. And what? He's not shooting the ball and laying it up and getting, hit for an and one. This is why I think the NBA needs to do a little bit more of a self reflection and think about how can we make the product better for everybody. And to me, that's holding the refs accountable for calling the game like a playoff game. I know that a lot of people are going to complain about it. I know a lot of people are going to be upset. But this is the way basketball has to be played. This is the way that basketball has to be, because no one wants to just see a free throw game. And I know that the NBA is trying to get rid of that. They've been doing a good job in the last couple of seasons. But I just want to keep emphasizing this because I think that this is important to talk about. It's an important topic to talk about, not because of the fact that it ruins games or it helps games, but the fact that it helps players. Ben Simmons, I think, would be a much better player if you called the game like a playoff game for Ben Simmons than if you just called regular season, little touch fouls, he gets fouled, then he goes to the free throw line, 1 for 2. Like, let Ben Simmons understand, like, okay, I can't do this move all the time. I'm going to have to need to change up my moveset. I'm going to need to change up my repertoire. And really, I think that what it does, then it allows players to get better at the game that they may or may not have. Sometimes, let's say, for example, Curry. He's probably going to be a guy that's not going to go lay it up in the regular season. He's going to be mostly going to be shooting behind the line, or even a guy like Andrew Wiggins. Like, he's going to be attacking the paint, and if he's getting 10 free throw attempts in the playoffs, what's he getting in the regular season? Probably a lot more. Maybe not as much. I'm sure 10 is an outlier, but it is frustrating if you are a fan of the sport to see that the games are being a little more physical. The games are having that sort of physicality that I think has been missing in the last couple of years because they've gone so much finesse with the way that 3-point shooting has taken over. But let's get back to some root and grind fundamentals. Let defenses play hard. Let them do a lot of different things. Let them be more physical, because then it allows your players to get better. I'm not saying to arm check them or hand check them and keep them in bay with your offhand, but just allow a little bit more physicality, allow more physicality in the rebounding, allow more physicality in a lot of different places. And I think that that'll be a much better job for this league and for the players to get better. And it's a much better product. But let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys make of that? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I just want to get this little tangent out. I know it's not going to be a very long video, but it's a video I wanted to talk about because I think that it does infuriate me, and it probably infuriates a couple other fans that no one's really playing the way that you want them to. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys make of my little playoff rant for the referees? Let the guys play more physical, call less fouls, let the game be the way it's supposed to be. A game where everybody gets a chance, everybody gets an opportunity, and it's not just ticky-tack fouls here and there. Let me know in the comment section down below, do you agree or do you disagree? Alrighty. And let's move on to some other stuff that I wanted to talk about. Who we got here? We got Dame Dollar, Mr. Fourth Quarter Clutch. Salute. Hey man, how you doing? We just got done talking about Golden State and the Sacramento Kings. Steph Curry is him. Went off for 50. Amazing player. And so I did a little bit of that. So if you want to rewatch that part of the stream, Mr. Clutch, Mr. Fourth Quarter, watch that, because I did talk a little bit more about that. But let's move on, and I'm going to save this game and really this series for my boy Pete when we get a chance to talk. We're going to talk a little bit about that. I want to get another game in from them before we do anything else in that manner. But let's go NBA really quick. We're going to talk about NBA playoffs. We officially got it. Golden State Warriors, LA Lakers. This game is up for grabs. And let's keep it real. This is going to be a defensive effort type of game that I've seen. Dame Dollar just, hey, what's up, man? Appreciate the subscribe. Everybody check out Dame Dollar with the subscription. Appreciate it. Appreciate the subscription. This, to me, is going to be the playoff series of the next round. I think the Golden State Warriors and the LA Lakers are a lot similar to each other than I think a lot of people anticipate. If you guys watched my prediction show for this, I think me and my boy Pete did this together. I had the Lakers going all the way to the Western Conference Finals, and I think losing to the Nuggets, if I'm not mistaken. The Lakers, on paper, in my personal opinion, look a lot better than I think a lot of people realize. The Lakers are a tremendous basketball organization that many people are overlooking just because of the fact that during the regular season they were a mess. In the play-in game, they almost lost that game to the Timberwolves. But when I really stop and think about this game, it's really going to come down to which superstars are going to make the play. To me, this has to be an Anthony Davis type of game, because we know what they're going to do to LeBron James. We know what they're going to do to these role players, but what are they going to do to Anthony Davis? Because they can't treat Anthony Davis like Sabonis. Like, Anthony Davis can shoot the ball. He is a triple threat, three level scorer in all facets. I think he's more of a two-way scorer in terms of he can score mid-range and inside. 3-point shot has not been as reliant as it usually has been. But to me, this is going to be a fun series to watch. I mean, let's look at the player stats for both of these teams. Let me see if I can get. Let's see here. Try to see if there is a. Well, but let's go StatMuse and let's look at Lakers playoff stats 2023. Right, and we can look at, let's see here. Let's go here, and then we can go to stats here, and then let's go to postseason playoffs. So, looking at the stats for the regular season for the LA Lakers, offensively, they're one of the best. I think they're top 2 in like 2-point field goal percentage, so I think that that's also something that's cool to look at. The Lakers, not the best 3-point shooting team, but that's not where they get most of their points from. They're 10th in scoring. Offensively, they do a good job. I mean, look at the points given up for the Lakers, 104.7. I mean, that's great defense. And fouls, they're not fouling as much. Blocks, they're 3rd. Steals, they're 5th. Assists, they're 8th, which tells you, or like defensively defending them. This team, I think, is going to be okay. I think this team is going to do a lot better job than I think a lot of people realize. Now, the concern, like I said, for the LA Lakers is, are they going to score enough to compete with the Golden State Warriors? That is my biggest concern if you are a Lakers fan, because I do think that this team defensively can stop guys like Curry, stop guys like Thompson, stop guys like Andrew Wiggins. But on the flip side, can they score enough to contend and continue with these other teams? Because, again, no one is a stopper of anybody. It's more, can you contain these guys and keep them at bay? And Steph Curry just erupted for 50 points in this last game. Now, will he be tired? Will he be frustrated? Will he be fatigued? Yeah, Steph Curry will be fatigued and all that stuff. And you're going to rely, you're definitely going to need to have Jordan Poole in this series. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, if you are a LA Laker fan, you are chomping at the bits to see if if Jordan Poole is going to step up in any way. Because to me, that's how the Golden State Warriors are going to win their playoff series against the Lakers. Is, can Jordan Poole get you that 22 to 25 points that you need to win these games? Because we know they're going to do a good job with Steph Curry. We know what type of defense that they play. I'm curious to see, and maybe we'll watch a little bit of film, or maybe I will watch a little bit more film with the regular season for these two games and see how they played against each other. But like I said, playoffs is a completely different story. They're going to change the lineups. Is Draymond Green going to be Anthony Davis? That's another question that we're going to have to find out. But all I know from watching this video, from watching the Lakers, this team is a different animal. They're a different beast. And I think that this is going to be a great David versus Goliath story. Again, the Lakers are a great team. They're a solid team. But we know what the Golden State Warriors are. They are the people's champs. And maybe not the people's champs, but they are championship pedigree and all. They are a great team. It's hard to stop them. And so this is the question that needs to come from everybody thinking about this whole game is, can you get enough stops? Can you force enough errors from the Golden State Warriors to get yourself this win? We know the Golden State Warriors are very turnover prone. They're not a team that likes to necessarily be smooth, really tight with the basketball, meaning that they're going to be a little bit loosey-goosey with it. They're going to like pass it off. They're going to try and do these like hook passes that think that they're going to get to the player, but then it gets picked off, they get stolen, and then they go the other way, and it's in points for the other team. We saw that against the Kings team, and maybe they're going to tighten up because now they're playing a veteran team. But that is a concern if you are the Lakers, in my opinion. Or sorry, if you're the Warrior fans, or even Warriors, in my opinion, is can you be not so turnover prone with the ball? Because that's how this Golden State Warriors team will lose games more likely than win them if that's the case. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of one of those things. They're gonna, for me, like D'Angelo Russell is playing a lot better. Rui Hachimura should be getting all the minutes in the world. Like, he should be averaging 28 to 30 minutes a game. Like, that's how good he is. That's how great of a player he is. Like, he is shooting, I believe, a very tremendous clip, if I'm not mistaken. He's shooting 52% from threes. And I know he doesn't shoot a lot of them, and he's not like averaging like 5 to 7 attempts per game. But the ones that he does get and does hit, that's a game changer. That's something that no one else can take away from Rui Hachimura. And I want to continue. Excuse me. It's been a long day. That is what I want to see from this LA Lakers team. Because I think that this team can do it. I think that this team can beat the Golden State Warriors. But it's going to come down to the role players for me for both teams. Jordan Poole being one of them. For the other, and maybe to some extent Andrew Wiggins. But for the Lakers, superstar wise, I think it's on Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis needs to just step up the scoring just a little bit more. Just because I think that I think this should be a series where he eats, depending on who's guarding him. Because I think that Kevon Looney can't guard him, and neither can Draymond Green. I think this is going to be more of a series of getting the mismatch for Anthony Davis. Are they going to double him? That's going to be the biggest question mark for me looking forward to this game. What are they going to do when Anthony Davis gets the ball? Are they going to try to double for him to kick out and do things like that? Because he is a great passer of the ball. He may not, the stats may not show it, but he knows how to get the balls to the right guys. Hockey assists, I wish those were stats that counted in basketball. But that's just kind of the way it goes for basketball. But again, I'm excited for this playoff series. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Troy Brown Jr., wondering how many more minutes he's got in him. His minutes have to probably greatly reduce if this team is going to contend for a championship. His minutes have to diminish. Dennis the Menace doing a good job of distributing the ball out to other people. D'Angelo Russell, great hit and success in this first round series. Can they do it again in the next round series? That is the biggest question mark for me moving forward. But let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of this Golden State Warriors versus the LA Lakers? This is going to be a lot of fun. I know a lot of people are excited about it. And I want to know what you guys' opinions are of this in the comment section down below. And please remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Again, all that stuff helps out the channel tremendously. We're trying to grow this channel, and this video will be put out either the day of or the day before the Warriors and the Lakers play. Like, that's going to be a fun one to watch, and I'm excited to put this video out before that time. Alrighty. I think that's going to do it here for the charge. I mean, the only other thing to really quickly talk about before we sign out of here, I think what it kind of goes to show, and it's not on the screen here, Joel Embiid. This to me is a big concern if you're a 76er fan. He's doubtful for game 1. And apparently, according to Shams, it's worse than a grade 1 sprain. That to me is a red flag. If there's any red flags going on right now, this is one of them. And I said it last year, and I'll say it again. Andrew. Ooh, man, I can't even talk today. We're gonna end the stream. Yep, we're gonna end the stream because I do want to talk about this. But Joel Embiid, he needs to find a way to stay on the court. It is frustrating to see such a talented player. Again, I'm a Celtics fan, as you can tell by the hat. I know it's a little clear, see-through hat right now, just because of the green background just behind me. To me, it's frustrating that he can't play. Because this is, again, a yearly thing that is occurring for Joel Embiid. And I don't know if it's something that he's eating, if it's something in his body, if it's something that he's not training for. He needs to find a way to do that because he's such a tremendously gifted athlete, a special type of talent, an MVP caliber talent. On the bench, sitting in street clothes because he's hurt again. That, to me, that just can't happen. It can't happen. It shouldn't happen. And I hope, for their sake, I hope that they're able to find an answer to the Embiid problem. Because, again, it's going to be frustrating if you are a 76ers fan not having your best player day in and day out, and you're going to have to rely on players that may or may not be able to carry a team, especially if you're losing an MVP. That's a big time player to lose. Like, you can't lose your MVP. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Nevertheless, thank you guys once again for joining us here on The Charge, giving the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. I know this was a short stream, but we'll talk a little bit later. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys make of the Golden State Warriors? What do you make of the Sacramento Kings? Are they heading in the right direction? And also let us know about the LA Lakers versus Golden State series. Who do you have in that? Let me know in the comment section down below. But anyway, guys, like I said, my name is Bernie. Thank you once again for joining, and we'll catch everybody on the next episode of The Charge.